So I feel like nose jobs affect more than just like the physical side of you, and obviously, yeah, the physical aspects are like, evident. Like an emotional side of it that's a little bit deeper. So yeah. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Tilly, and in today's video I'm going to be discussing anything that has to do with before and after rhinoplasty, whether it's physical changes or emotional ones. I'm just going to take you through everything that's changed for me. So before surgery, my self-esteem was so bad, and I don't think I realised how bad it really was. Like, I would find myself focusing on only the features I didn't like because of my nose. It was as if I couldn't see past my nose, if that made sense. Like in pictures, even though I look at pictures from before and after now, and obviously there's a clear difference, but when I would look at pictures from before, I just hated it. I remember feeling like I hate the way I look, and in my head I don't feel like I look like that. So it was a horrible place to be in, and it meant that I was quite bogged down. I felt like quite a bit of weight was on my shoulders thinking about all these little things. And I know that sounds crazy to people that don't like feel like self-esteem issues, but I hope someone out there relates, because I'm not that crazy lady that, is so vain that all I can think of is like how I look. But if I went out, I always felt the need to put like a certain amount of makeup on, the right clothes, whereas now I don't feel like that. If I was in a group picture, all I could think of was, oh my god, I'm gonna have to like pose perfectly, otherwise I'm gonna hate it. Like, I'm posing perfectly to not hate the picture, to the point where I feel dread if someone's posted it online and tagged me. I'm like, ugh, like I don't want people to know that I actually look like that, even though I clearly look like that. It's my face. I can't go around with a balaclava on. It was just, I didn't realise how self-conscious I was until I was no longer self-conscious, if that makes sense. So yeah, no matter what I did, I just didn't like the way I looked. Like, I just didn't like it. And looking back at pictures, it makes me feel so sad for like where I was, and that I let my self-esteem issues get in the way of me being happy. Like, there's moments in life where I probably would have felt a lot happier if A, I either had no self-esteem problems, or B, if cameras and phones and pictures and social media didn't exist. But obviously that's not the world we live in, so I feel like it was either me getting over myself, me fixing my own problems, or destroying every camera lens on earth. Like, I remember taking these pictures and just feeling like, I remember like feeling like my hair looks really nice and my makeup's turned out really cute today. Like, I just had really clear skin and my eyelashes looked dead long and the lighting was just lovely. Like, you could really see my eyes. And then I took the pictures, and then like 2 minutes later, once I was like looking through them, I just remember hating every single one of them for like no valid reason. Like, I look cute, but I hated it so much because of my nose. Like, I felt like it made me look wrong, if that makes sense. But there's nothing wrong with these pictures. It was just me. I was so self-conscious and I couldn't get over it. Like, I tried and it just wasn't working. This picture was on, like, I think it was New Year's Eve, and I remember like I had my hair done that day, which is why it looks like that. I hate it when other people do my hair. It's terrible. But true. And I remember really liking my makeup, and it turned out really well again. Like, my eyelashes look really nice there. Eyebrows, not so much, but let's not comment on that. And I remember like wearing lipstick for the first time in a long time. I was like, oh, I feel cute today. And then my boyfriend, he was like, oh, you look so pretty. Like, I love, like, just being really nice to me, like complimenting a lot. And then I remember looking at these pictures and just like being like, why? Why do you think I look pretty? I don't get it. I don't see it. And even in candid shots, like, I just hated the way I looked. Like, even though here, when I actually look at my face, you can barely tell there's a difference in between now and like before. Like, it looks the same just because of the angle and the picture quality. But I remember being like, oh my god, I look awful. Like, why don't I like these pictures of me when there's no reason? It was just me being crazy and having self-esteem problems. Awful, awful, awful. And then this one kind of like highlights the reason why I got surgery in the first place. I think the root cause, I see myself with these Instagram filters and these TikTok filters, and it was a different face. Like, I didn't have the same face. They all slimmed down the nose. They all changed the noses. And then that stupid TikTok trend, well, I have to say go, because I bitches come and go, bruh. But I say, like, when everyone's looking at each other and all you can see is side profiles, and I was like, oh my god, ew, I could never do that because I hate my side profile. I never took side profile pictures, ever. Like, I had to be at a certain angle from dead on to hide the fact that my nose was huge. Like, I could not imagine having a picture, let alone a video, of me willingly giving you my side profile. Hated it. So I do blame social media to a large extent for showing me a version of myself that I felt more like myself being, if that made sense. I felt more like me with an Instagram filter on than I did without, and there was no other way that I could change that. And I did try for years, but I grew up in like the social media, crazy filter era, like even the ones with the stupid Snapchat ones with the flower crown thing going on. Like I grew up in that, and they all changed your face, they all made you look different, and I couldn't program that out of my own head. So yeah, my outlook pre-surgery was just like about myself. I just didn't ever feel at ease. I didn't ever feel comfortable in my own skin. And that did change, thank God, like after I'd had surgery. My nose and the way I felt about my nose kind of made me into my own worst critic. Like it was as if my nose opened the door to open season to criticizing everything else I felt I like could improve on, and I would pick apart at myself. It was awful. Whereas now that I don't have that like gateway through my nose, if that makes sense, I'm able to ignore the parts of me that I don't like as much, or I'm able to just see the parts I like more, and that kind of outshines it and kind of balances it a bit more. But yeah, before it was awful. My outlook on myself was just not a very kind one. Something I'd never say about other people, so God knows why I was saying it about myself. My outlook about surgery was a really, really positive one. Like I kind of felt like I didn't have any regrets. I didn't have any confusing like moments of like, should I, shouldn't I? I think it's because I was going into it telling myself that anything other than botched is better than what I've got right now. And I honestly think that that's the best way to go into it. And if you can't tell yourself that truthfully, then it's not for you, because it's not fair to put that level of pressure on a surgeon, on a doctor, on your body, on the way that you heal, that it has to heal perfectly this exact way. Otherwise, you're not going to be happy. That's not fair. So don't do that to yourself. Don't do that to your surgeon. It's just not fair. Don't do it. Like if you can't go into it saying anything other than botched is better than what I have right now, it's not for you. Don't do it. So the transformation, the proper before and afters. Initially, my emotional reaction was absolute fear. Like I took off the doctor took off the cast. He handed me the mirror, and I was like, oh my God, what have I done? And do I need to explain why? Look at the face of me. However, I did have it drummed into myself that I wasn't going to like what I saw in the mirror when I had my cast taken off, and I potentially wasn't going to like what I saw in the mirror for a few weeks, and that was the case for me. I did not like my nose as soon as I took the cast off. Like I was a bit scared, but the profile was really impressive, and I really loved what he did with the profile, so it kind of like gave me faith. It was okay. I felt confident in my surgeon, but I was a bit scared, I'm not gonna lie. But it was okay, like, and then after a few weeks, like, the swelling went down drastically, so I felt a lot better. Even though the result, even at 2 weeks post-op, wasn't anywhere near where I needed it to be, like, for me to be happy, but I could see how much it changed in such a short amount of time. Like, 14 days is nothing. And the swelling went down drastically, and I was like, right, okay, if it keeps going like this, I'll be fine. So it was kind of like about drumming it into myself that I'm not going to like my results at first, and that's okay. I'm not supposed to. So the lasting effect that it had for my self-esteem was amazing. It was massive, phenomenal, huge, life-changing, literally. I was able to like see past my nose, if that makes sense. Like at first I was kind of focusing on my nose, like looking at it in pictures in the mirror, just everything, and being like, oh, isn't it cute? It's so pretty. Whereas once I'd kind of got to a point in my healing journey where it was no longer noticeable that I'd had surgery unless you knew me before or were, a specialist unless a doctor. I could still see signs of swelling, but I just looked like a normal human being to most other people in the street. From that point onwards, I was then able to see past my nose and look at my other features more. Like everything that other people had always complimented me on, I now wasn't seeing as like, of course you're going to say that. I kind of was like, no, they're right. Like I do have, nice eyes, or I do have this, that, or the other. Like I was able to look at the other positive aspects of myself and kind of slowly was able to forget about the things I didn't like as much. Or maybe not forget, but not put it in as much value, if that makes sense. It didn't weigh as much. Whereas the positives, for the first time ever, I was starting to see them. And it felt so freeing. It just felt like so much lighter as a person. So this newfound confidence honestly meant I was no longer a nightmare to leave the house with. Like before, I felt like I had to have, every single spot covered up, or, what's even the point of like me living, which is so like stupid, because for Christ's sakes, like it just doesn't, no one cares, no one looks at each other that much. Whereas I just didn't feel like I had to be constantly put together, because even in a silly picture, or, you know, when I'm not looking my best first thing in the morning, whatever, hungover, who cares, I still could see the fact that I was pretty, I was beautiful, but wasn't concentrating on the fact that I hated myself, if that makes sense. Like, I was like, no, I do love the person that's in there. Can she look better? Probably. But does it matter? No, not really. And even though I didn't feel the pressure that I had to look a certain way when I left the house, or pose a certain way in pictures, I found myself looking after myself more. Like, I found myself having a really strict skincare routine, and now, like, my skin's so nice. Same goes for my hair, like my nails, even though they're not, like, you know, fancy or anything. I found myself wanting to look after myself more, both physically and mentally. Like, I found myself investing a bit more in my mental health stuff. So it also made me so much more at ease socially. Like, I just didn't find myself being so self-absorbed and self-obsessed and vain about my own self-hatred, that I was just so much more relaxed. It just brought a major sense of inner peace, like just a lot less thoughts, a lot less bad thoughts floating around my head. It was great, just a lot more relaxed. So all this has definitely had a massive impact on, like, my happiness. Like, I just feel so much more light, free, less self-obsessed, more able to concentrate on, like, other things in my life than my own looks, which you'd think cosmetic surgery would have the opposite effect, but for me it hasn't. It's really been a freeing kind of procedure for me. Like, I no longer feel weighed down by such negative thoughts about myself. And the surgery itself went above and beyond my emotional expectations as well as physical expectations. Like, the before and afters are beautiful. Like, the before and afters are just chef's kiss. Like, I love my results, and I'm not even, like, fully cooked yet. Like, I'm still healing, the swelling is still going down, and the skin is still changing for the better. Like, cannot wait to see the final results, but also no rush, happy where I'm at. Okay, so, like, there was a shift in identity though that I feel like isn't talked about enough, and I was able to bridge that gap with taping. And by a shift in identity, I mean, you've got a new face. I was used to my old face for, you know, 24 years. That's the face I saw in the mirror. That's the face everyone else saw me in. And it only slowly changed, obviously, through childhood and stuff. Whereas now, overnight, I had a brand new face. And that can be a bit of a shock. And I think that it's a bit more scary than people realise. But the fact that I went from having my before, having a taped up face, like constantly I was in tape, unless I'd like release it for, you know, 20 minutes to wash it off and reapply. And then there's the after. I think that having that taped version of myself really helped me forget my old face, get used to my new face, and accept it, if that makes sense. And there's been studies that that's like what taping can do for you psychologically. So I think that helped me massively, but there was definitely a shift in identity. But for me, it was a shift for the better. The shifts in emotions as well, like obviously it went from feeling quite negative about myself to no longer feeling that, to not caring / feeling, you know, dare I say, a bit too overconfident sometimes. But there were like shifts in my doubts a little bit, not about getting the surgery, but about which surgeon I was going to go for. I do not understand how people just pick a surgeon and then stick with it. You're a psycho. Like, sorry, how do you not change your mind a million times? How do you not spend hours upon hours pouring yourself into research? Mind-blowing to me. Congratulations to you, but no. For me, I was back and forth for a good 9 months minimum, ping-ponging in between who to go with. And when I finally picked the surgeon, all that stress was just gone, disappeared. So good luck picking, but once you've picked and you're setting your decision, it's so much easier from there on out. Like, that was honestly, to me, borderline more stressful, picking who my surgeon was going to be, than the actual surgery was. My main bit of advice is you need to be prepared emotionally for the stress, anxiety, then, you know, identity crisis that you're going to have. Like, you're going to feel confused, you're going to not like your results. Please drum that into yourself. Please be prepared for the anxiety that you're going to get post-op, thinking, oh my god, my nose is going to fall off. I'll be the first case in history. My nose will just completely slough off for no reason. Like, please be prepared for that level of insanity. I highly recommend taking valerian root. It's like a natural Valium. If you don't take, like, you know, mental health drugs, this valerian root stuff will smack you out. Like, it honestly, it's great. 2, send me to sleep. 1, chill me out throughout the day. I recommend Calm's, great brand. My surgeon okayed me to take them after surgery. Please do ask your doctors as well. But yeah, find something that's going to be a little bit more of a help than just meditating, like, because you might need it. It's not a weird thing to go through that level of anxiety where you're honestly just a panicking mess that makes no sense. That's where I was, and I needed the valerian root to chill me out. If you're watching this, I'm so sorry that you're here. I'm so sorry that you feel the way you feel right now. I feel like when I was looking into it, it was just such a low place in my life that I was like kind of accepting, right, this is it. I need to do this for myself. And I'm so sorry that you don't feel that level of self-love. I really hope that you can find it without cosmetic surgery. Please try and find it. I tried for at least 2 years. If you can do that, I think it will help you to not have any regrets about surgery if you do choose to go forward with it. Yeah, like try your hardest. And there's no rush anyway, like to get surgery. It's fine. Like 2 years is nothing. You've had this face your whole life. What's another few months, you know? I'm so sorry that you feel this way, but please do know that whether you accept yourself, and in that case, congratulations, that's amazing, and I'm so glad that you're able to do that, or not, this isn't it forever. Like, it's okay. We have these things, like we have things like cosmetic surgery to help people that can't accept themselves, and that's okay, and there's nothing wrong with taking that path. And if anyone tries to make you feel like less of a person for it, you don't need them in your life. Like, honestly, if they don't understand the level of like grief that you give yourself, then more than anything an outside factor can do to you, then you don't need them. Please cut them out of your life. Like, you need people with positivity around you if you're feeling this level of self-consciousness. Like, it's not going to go away on its own. Please, it takes a village and all that. So I'm so sorry you feel this way. But if you've tried for a good long time to accept yourself and you haven't been able to, and you're just sick and tired of feeling the way you do, don't, just go for it. Just throw yourself into it. Spend as much time as you can like bear researching the surgeon and what you want and why you want it. Save up as much money as you can. And just go for it. Like, honestly, I have no regrets. I'm so happy with my decision. I'm so happy with where I'm at in life right now. And that's it for today. Please comment down below though how you feel about cosmetic surgery. Is it something you'd ever consider? Is it something that scares you? Is it something that disgusts you? I'd love to know down below. And where are you at in your rhinoplasty journey? Are you just thinking about it? Have you booked in with a surgeon? Yeah, where are you at in your research? I really hope you liked this video. Please do like and comment down below. If you didn't, like, you know, follow me. I'm new on YouTube, clearly. I hope you guys have a great day. Bye!